Quiet on the set. Quiet on the set. Welcome to Shereen TV. I am Shereen, founder of Awaken the Rebel, where we help people to stop settling for less and really to rebel in the direction of their dreams. So, in order to help us do that today, we have Sabrina Bolin. This girl is like a breath of fresh air, like a little intuitive relaxation for your mind. So definitely get ready because we're going to have her as my very special guest. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Sabrina. Hello, darling.
Hello, Shereen.
So first of all, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me. This is so exciting.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this because, you know, it's the month of February and everyone's thinking about love and do I have someone to love? Do I not? And there's kind of like, as much as there's a lot of love being celebrated around, there's also a lot of strife around if they don't. And so you being an intuitive coach, I would love for us to kind of, you know, get into that subject a little bit. But before we do that, why don't you just give us a little taste of who it is that you are and what it is that you do?
Yes. Okay. I'm Sabrina Bolin, like Shereen said. And I'm an intuitive coach, so what I do is I help my clients make peace with their ego, because we've all got those loud ego thoughts. I help them then awaken their intuition. That's that still small voice that really is telling us what our spirit wants us to do. And ultimately, second guess less, because we are making choices in every single moment, so we're more conscious of them that way.
It's kind of nice. Somebody that I probably needed my entire life. Not even kidding. All right, so that's beautiful. And I'm curious, you know, like when it comes to this, like how do you do that? How does one do that?
So my process is, like I said, I start with the ego because that's what's the loudest. That's the voice we all know. In fact, when we were just talking a second ago, I'm literally looking at myself and trying to fix my hair, and Shereen catches me. She's a mirror for me as I'm like, oh my God, I hate this, I hate that. This voice becomes so automatic sometimes that we're like, we don't even realize what we're saying.
Yeah.
And so what happens is making peace with our ego thoughts. It's not about killing your ego,
right, because
it's there. It's there. It's going to be there your entire life. And
True.
So when we make peace with that, we can actually then start to just turn it down.
Yeah.
Put it in perspective.
Yeah.
You know, and see it for what it is. And sometimes it teaches us great lessons. And so
right,
that's the first step. We usually come together with my clients and we just get it all out there. I hear everything that's going on and I reflect it back to them so they can see exactly what's going on.
I love that.
Step two is when we get to intuition. And that's really, you know, all of us have an intuition. It's not just reserved for psychics or mystics or really spiritual people. We
right,
all are intuitive,
yeah,
right? And so, and it's all about hearing it through your body. It's hearing it through, you know, just that your soul, those little moments that you're like, I want to say yes, but nothing logically seems to fit in place with this. So I don't know why I would say yes to this. So it's starting to really ramp that up and turn that volume up. And then the second guess less is just because we're always making choices. And so even those choices that are not quite making sense, right? Not quite clicking. When we make that choice, when we're feeling guided by that choice, we don't second guess it. We're able to move through it and then actually learn a lesson. If it doesn't go the way we plan, which it usually doesn't anyway, right? Then we can actually learn the lesson from it, or we can grow from it, or we can just experience the bliss and joy that comes from it.
I love that so much because honestly, there's so much in life that has to do with this process. Like, you know, being a rebel, being someone who maybe wants to break out of your cubicle and have this crazy, amazing life where you're living on purpose and making an impact. That is going to require you to master the process she just discussed. Like, you know, I do this for a living and I just did the Cubicle Monkey Revolution, you know, later last year. And in every day being a business owner, I'm constantly dealing with what she's talking about. And I know you guys are too, because, you know, like attracts like. So if you're watching this, we're probably dealing with the same thing. So, you know, for you, Sabrina, someone who kind of helps people to deal with this all the time and helping us turn down the ego, turn up the intuition, maybe what's like 3 tips where we can, for the people who are listening, help them see an easy way to turn down that ego and turn up the intuition?
Sure. So I think the first one, like I said, is just recognizing what those stories are. Because we all have, you know, I think one of the statistics is that there's about 60,000 thoughts a day, and about 98% of those are the same thing.
Oh.
Yeah. And so we're saying the same thing to ourselves over and over and again. And it's usually not a very empowering thing that we're saying to ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I encourage all of my clients to, if you don't already have a journaling practice, it doesn't have to be every single day.
Okay.
But I would say at least once a week, really give yourself some space to say, okay, what is it that's going on right here? Just dig a little bit around the thoughts that you're having, the stories that you're telling yourself. So that's number one.
Okay.
Just really having that. And then the next thing I'd love to give is just a little tip, and I call it 90 seconds to freedom.
Okay.
And so right?
Yes.
And so as rebels, you're going to love it too, because we all want to feel more free in our lives. And so what you do is the first 30 seconds is you actually just allow yourself to have that thought. So let me just give an example. Yeah, my hair looks crazy. That was really the thought I was having earlier, but it's a thought, right? And I was judging the thought. So instead of judging that thought or trying to get rid of it, for 30 seconds, I would just have the thought, my hair looks crazy. My hair looks crazy. My hair looks crazy. Just really just thinking that thought, feeling those feelings that come up for me.
Yeah.
30 seconds. Set a timer if you need to.
Right.
The next 30 seconds, what you're going to do is you're going to say, in your mind, I'm having the thought that my hair looks crazy. Right?
I like that.
So you start to name it. You start to name one that it's just a thought.
Yeah.
You know, and that two, that it's just something you're having. It's not you.
Love
You don't
that.
identify it with it so much, right?
Yeah.
Last 30 seconds, so 90 seconds to freedom. The last 30 seconds, what you're going to do is you say, I'm noticing that I'm having the thought that. So as you do that, you become the observer. So not only are you the person who thinks, you're the person who sees that you're just there thinking. That's not you, right? And so you get really more in touch with spirit. At the same time, you're not trying to kill the thought. It's going to come back again. 90 seconds, it's gone.
I freaking love this. This is so great, especially because, you know, obviously my brand is like Rebel, Awaken the Rebel, Awaken the Rebel, and yours is Awaken Your Intuition. And the truth is, when I talk about your Rebel, I am talking about your inner spirit, your inner intuition, that part of you that knows there's something greater in the world that you really want to be doing. And so I love what you do, and I love the 90 Seconds to Freedom. And so I'm going to just juice you a little more for our audience here.
Juice.
If there's somebody in the audience right now who's like, it's February, you know, Singles Awareness Day, like kind of hating that they don't have someone in their lives, what is just one sort of piece of advice for them this month?
So, you know, before we can love anyone else, before we can feel and accept and receive love from anyone else, we have to love ourselves.
It's true.
It's just kind of a given, right? And so, and you want to anyway. It's not, I mean, this shouldn't be some kind of like, oh God, it's the, you know, dirty work I got to do, love myself. This is really part of this whole journey, this whole spiritual journey, this whole rebellious journey, because really ego, which is where all that noise is coming from, doesn't want us to feel that way. And so, you know, the first thing that I would have you do is, there's a mantra that I use in my life and I use with my clients.
Okay.
And it's choose love now. And it's, you know, 3 parts. 1, choose. Everything is a choice. Every single thing is a choice, whether we're making it consciously or not. Love is, you know, it's like what we're all after. But really in a bigger sense, too, it's the voice of love. The voice of love being your intuition versus the voice of fear being your ego. Now is the fact that now is the only time there is. And so often when we get caught up in these worries of, you know, like you said, oh, singledom and all that kind of stuff, it's because we're getting really either regrets of the past or some kind of worries of the future. But really in this moment, if we really just stop for a second and said, I'm going to choose love now in this moment, then it's not all that heaviness. It's not all that worry.
Right.
And so you just keep bringing yourself back to that again and again and again. As you get aligned, trust me, you become a magnet for those guys who are worthy of you, or ladies that are worthy of you, whoever you are, right?
Oh my goodness, it's so good. So, so tell me, for the people who are watching who are loving every second of this sort of advice you're giving, and I'm really feeling it, so I just want you to know. So for those of you who are out there, I know you're feeling her because I'm all juiced up right now.
Yeah.
Where can they find you? You know, where can they get access to you?
Yeah, SabrinaBolin.com. So that's just SabrinaBolin.com. And I also have, you know, one of the things, like I said, about journaling as a practice. The other thing too is meditation as a practice. Now that can be very heavy for people if you don't have anything going right now. So what I offer is a guided meditation service.
Cool.
I custom craft it. It's intuitively guided. I basically take wherever you are, the fears that you have, those ego fears, those stories. I also take the vision you have, this big rebellious awakening vision you have, and then I create a very simple meditation that you can listen to help you, again, awaken that intuition so that it becomes easier to come back to it again and again.
I love this. And so this happens on your website. Is it like they give you their email and then you guys communicate and then you create it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So come to SabrinaBolin.com. You can find out more there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Shereen.
You're amazing, and we'll see you next time on Shereen TV.
Bye.
Don't hate, girlfriend.
I'm not
bangs
gonna
are
hate.
sexy.
Oh, they're okay. They're
Don't let your ego get in the way.
It's so true, Shereen.